Welcome, football fans. Are you ready for some post-draft excitement? Because we've got a jam-packed video lined up just for you. Today, we're delving into the potential trade targets and strategies for our beloved Dallas Cowboys. But before we dive in, let me drop a quick reminder. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Your support fuels our journey to hit our milestone of 10,000 subscribers. Let's grow together. Alright, let's get down to business. With the draft behind us, the Cowboys find themselves in a fascinating position. We've got extra 2025 draft picks and flexibility on the roster and in the cap space. So, what's the plan? We're exploring trade targets, and we want your input too. Drop your trade targets in the comments below and let's spark some lively discussions. We're kicking off with wide receivers, discussing names like Treylon Burks and Alec Pierce. Could these players inject some much-needed firepower into our offense? And what about the defensive line? Names like DeMarvin Leal and Draymond Jones are on our radar. Will they shore up our defense? Stick around as we break down each potential trade and weigh the pros and cons. But wait, there's more. We're not stopping at wide receivers and defensive linemen. We're diving into running backs, linebackers, and even safeties. Who will strengthen our roster and elevate our game? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's keep the conversation going. As we wrap up, remember to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Your support drives us forward as we strive to be the ultimate destination for Cowboys fans everywhere. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, go Cowboys! I'm thrilled to have you with us today. The NFL draft may be over, but that doesn't mean the excitement stops here. Today, we're diving into some hot trade ideas and targets for our Dallas Cowboys. We've got a lot to cover, so make sure you stick around till the end. Before we jump into our trade talk, a quick reminder, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Your subscription is crucial to us as we aim to hit our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Let's grow this community together. Now, let's get into the details. With the draft behind us, the Cowboys are in an interesting position. They have some extra 2025 draft picks, projected 4 additional compensatory picks in the 5th and 6th rounds, to be precise. Plus, they've got 3 extra roster spots open right now, with flexibility to create more if needed. Currently, there's $4 million in cap space, which will increase by $9.5 million once Michael Gallup's contract comes off the books. This financial flexibility is key as we explore potential trade targets. First things first, I want to hear from you. Who do you think the Cowboys should trade for? Drop your trade targets in the comments section below. Let's get a lively discussion going. Let's kick off with some wide receivers. Our first potential target is Treylon Burks. To put it bluntly, Burks has underperformed in his 2 seasons with the Titans. Now, he finds himself as the 4th option behind Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tyler Boyd. If the Cowboys trade for him, they'd be on the hook for $4.67 million over 2 years, not a bad deal financially. Dallas had a top 25 grade on Burks when he came out and went 18th overall to Tennessee. Despite his struggles, much like the trade for Trey Lance, this could be a chance to capitalize on a player's untapped potential. A 5th-round pick might be enough to get this done. Next up is Alec Pierce from the Colts. Unlike Burks, Pierce offers something the Cowboys roster lacks: speed and vertical threat capability. He might have lost his spot to another 2nd-round pick in Indy, but Pierce has the traits that could make him a valuable addition. At 6 feet 3 inches and 211 pounds, with a 4.41 40-yard dash, Pierce could provide the Cowboys with a much-needed deep threat. His contract is affordable, and his production has been solid. He could be a bit pricier in terms of trade cost, but he's definitely worth considering. Moving on to the defensive line, DeMarvin Leal from the Steelers is a name to watch. A former 3rd-round pick, Leal hasn't quite lived up to expectations, but he offers depth at a position where the Cowboys need it: defensive tackle. Pittsburgh is loaded at this spot, and Leal could be available for a reasonable price. With 2 years left on his contract at $1.3 million per year, he's an affordable option to bolster our defensive front. Then there's Draymond Jones. This one's a bit of a surprise. Reports indicate that the Seahawks are trying Jones at edge rusher, which suggests they might not be entirely happy with his performance so far. Seattle would save $1.5 million with a post-June 1st trade. If they're willing to eat some of his salary, Jones could be an excellent rotational 3 technique for the Cowboys. He didn't have a stellar 2023 season, but he has potential, and Dallas might be able to leverage Seattle's desperation to offload his contract. Before we continue, let me remind you, subscribe to our channel and enable the notification bell. Your support helps us grow and reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Every subscription counts. Now, let's look at a couple more intriguing trade targets. For the defensive backfield, the Cowboys might consider adding depth and experience. Players like Bryce Hall from the Jets or even Darnay Holmes from the Giants could provide solid coverage options and add competition in the secondary. These players are relatively young, have shown flashes of potential, and could be acquired for mid to late round picks. On the offensive line, strengthening the depth chart is always a good idea. A name like Isaiah Wynn, who has struggled with injuries but has undeniable talent, could be an interesting addition. If the Cowboys can negotiate a reasonable trade, adding a player like Wynn could provide valuable insurance against potential injuries on the offensive line. Will the Cowboys make a trade? So, will the Cowboys make a trade before the season starts? Type 1 for yes and 0 for no in the comments below. This is the pinned comment on today's video, so take advantage of the ad break to cast your vote. Keep the conversation going in the comments. Who do you think the Cowboys should trade for? Are there any under-the-radar players you believe could make a big impact? Let's start with the running backs. We've spent a lot of time discussing this position, but there are a couple of standout options worth revisiting. First up, Khalil Herbert. He's on a 1-year deal worth $1 million and has shown more in the past 2 years than most guys on our roster. Herbert is a solid early down runner and, while he may not be the best pass protector or catcher, we already have players who excel in those areas, like Tony Pollard and even Deuce Vaughn. Herbert could be a valuable addition to our running back committee, addressing a key need for the Cowboys. Another intriguing option is Israel Abanikanda from the Jets. Abanikanda has a physical build and speed that's currently lacking on our roster. He was a big play threat in college and brings impressive athleticism and track speed, making him a great fit for our running back rotation. His speed could add a new dimension to our offense that we currently don't have. If you're excited about the possibility of the Cowboys making a trade, make sure to hit that sub button at youtube.com/ATCBBoysTV for more free Dallas Cowboys YouTube videos. We've got you covered with all the latest updates. Moving on to linebackers, this is another area where the Cowboys could use some reinforcements. Malcolm Rodriguez from the Detroit Lions is a name to consider. He flashed potential in 2020 but has since been buried on the depth chart. The Cowboys liked him coming out of college, and he could provide excellent value with 2 years left on his contract at just over $2 million. Rodriguez would be a solid addition, especially as a linebacker 4 or 5, providing depth and competition. Jamin Davis from the Washington Commanders is another option. Despite being a first-round pick, Davis hasn't lived up to expectations. With the Commanders adding multiple linebackers, he might be available. Davis could benefit from a change of scenery, and the Cowboys could potentially acquire him at a reasonable cost. Will the Cowboys trade for a running back or linebacker? Type Y for yes and N for no in the comments below. Let's hear your predictions. For those looking at the secondary, particularly safeties, there are some intriguing names worth considering. Buda Baker from the Arizona Cardinals is a big name to keep an eye on. Although safety might not be an immediate need given our depth, Baker could provide an instant impact as a versatile chess piece in the secondary. However, his recent injury history and potential cost could be a concern. Another under-the-radar option is Louis Cine from the Minnesota Vikings. The Cowboys had a high grade on Cine during the draft, and he was rated above Tyler Smith on their board. Due to injuries, he hasn't had much playing time, but he could be a low-cost addition with significant upside. Before we continue, remember to subscribe to our channel and enable the notification bell. Your support helps us grow and reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Let's make Cowboys News TV the ultimate hub for Cowboys fans everywhere. Back to offense, wide receivers are always a hot topic. Treylon Burks from the Titans could be a gamble worth taking. Despite struggling so far, Dallas had a high grade on him coming out of college. With 2 years left on his contract at $4.67 million, he might be a low-risk, high-reward option if the Cowboys can revive his potential. Alec Pierce from the Colts offers something unique, speed and a vertical threat. At 6 feet 3 inches and with a 4.41 40-yard dash, Pierce could stretch the field for Dallas. He's affordable, and his production so far has been solid. Adding Pierce could provide the deep threat our offense needs. DeMarvin Leal from the Steelers is another interesting name. He hasn't lived up to his draft expectations, but he could provide depth at defensive tackle, a position where the Cowboys could use some reinforcement. Draymond Jones from the Seahawks might be available. Seattle seems to be experimenting with him at different positions, which could indicate he's not fitting their scheme. If they're willing to eat some of his salary, Jones could be a valuable rotational piece for Dallas. As we wrap up, I want to hear from you. What do you think is the biggest need left for the Cowboys? Sound off in the comments section of today's video. Let's get a lively discussion going. And don't forget, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Your support is crucial as we strive to reach 10,000 subscribers. Together, we can make Cowboys News TV the best source for all Cowboys news and updates. Thank you for watching Cowboys News TV. I'm Tom Downey, and we'll see you in the next video with more updates and insights on your favorite team. Go Cowboys!